everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield and I'm a professional dance choreographer and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States, and we're here to take a look at ENHYPEN and their track Bite Me. We have the music video in the dance practice to watch. This is a Patreon request, shout out to Hannah for the request, and I do believe, I heard from Hannah that ENHYPEN got in a little bit of hot water for this one because I believe we're having female dancers get involved, which I believe we have not seen from them at this point in my little marathon of Patreon requests to enjoy the group in chronological order. So I'm intrigued about this. I'm ready. I hope you are. Let's watch. That's right. They have a webtoon, so this is like a visual checkpoint within it. I had to remember they're vampires and they're not just dead. Got it.
It's you and me in this world. 내게로 다시 와 time me. 날 구원할 거라면 just come kiss me and bite me. You're my soul memory. 널 찾는 내 phone and scream. 이제 날 wanna hit a bit. 누군 우리 다시 밝혀냈지. 남이 bad 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 나를 괴롭힌 뭔가를 찾아 헤매는 dreams.
Those are really fun. They're curly. That! Oh my god. Why does it sound like a TVXQ situation? Dude, you're like 16. I will be doing none of that. It is interesting we have them just hovering on chairs. And they disappear. So there's many thoughts that I have, right? Well, another component of this is I will be trying to guess who's who without any guidance. And that's going to be really hard. I think I could get like maybe 5. I think is my goal. 5 out of 7. Okay. I don't know to what degree fans were upset about with the girls dancing with them. Was it because it was too suggestive, or we don't want any girls getting close to them because we own them, or neither, and it's something completely different, which I am a listening ear to. And we're not going to downplay the validity of those types of thoughts or concerns. Do I think this is even more mature than the last one we discussed? Yes. Do I think we needed to do it at this time? No. Probably where they are now would be a better time because they're all grown compared to then, because I know Nikki is still a teenager, and I really don't, if we're concerned because the ladies are providing a suggestive intention, then maybe we should remove the ladies for a second and think about the song and how suggestive it is by itself. Come on over and bite me. No, I don't want to. as an adult, that makes me uncomfortable to watch somebody who is underage say that on the screen. And that's okay that I can feel that way and say that, because that is how I feel, right? Now, if I was 16 and I was seeing a 16-year-old say that, we're the same age, so my thought process is going to be a little different. However, do I suggest that somebody who is really young, say things in this way? I know it's vampire lore, but the suggestiveness is still there. And we've had conversations already, both on Patreon and YouTube. The idea of vampires have a romanticized, they have that suggestive, sensual, kind of overlay in how you view them within the media side. There's like a classy seductiveness about them, right? At least from a lot of, just depending on who you talk to and depending on your media exposure. So do we think that the concept itself could be a little bit too much for the age in which they started? Maybe, right? But I don't know. That's something where we can have a discussion. We're still going to talk about the dance because we're about to see it here. Player guessing games, still have fun, but it is something that I feel, the responsibility to, I'm not overlooking that's how that reads to me. And this is 2026. There's been some time away from it. There's not, Reddit's blowing up threads, about this dance. You know what I mean? So I feel like we can have a really good conversation about it. And I'm always open to learning and discussing too. So here we go. Because of course, context can always allow us to be able to enjoy something or understand what we're watching even more. Hey! I like the LEDs in the back. That's a fun little moment there. It does tie into the music video. That part sounds so Gen 2, early Gen 2 coded. Possibly Gen 1. Oh my god, am I going to be able to get their names? I don't know. I'm really stressed about not getting their names right. Okay, looking at the dance. Okay, the dancers aren't doing anything inherently suggestive outside of the context of what the words are saying. They're not touching inappropriate places, and the traces are done extremity based, or it's isolated to the face where you're literally telling people to bite and kiss, right? So that's kind of my point here. Hey, that's pretty tricky to get a trace down like that and get them to connect back here. Huh. This is very fascinating partner work. Because it's tricky to do, actually. Ooh, that third one with all the girls turning to match too, that was cool. The look. Okay, I do have a potential solution for this. What could have helped in the points that I made, like specifically you have somebody as young as Nikki saying, come on over, kiss me and bite me. Have somebody who's grown, like Heesung. I know he's an adult, right? And I believe if I'm guessing right, he was one of the ones who would say that. Don't have somebody that's like Nikki's age saying that. There's literally 6 other people that I think are adults by this point who could have said it. And I think it would have helped a little bit, right? I think it's just like the mixed bag of all of that. But okay, we're going to play the game, I think, of who is who. I gotta go double check my I'm not gonna cheat. Like I'm gonna make sure I have the names, and then we're going to associate. Okay, we have a Heesung, Sunghoon, Jungwon, Sonu, Jae, Jake, and Nikki. Okay. Let's go. Let's start from here. I think that is Jay. See, look, I only have their names, so I'm not even putting. I didn't even look up this era of what they look like because people get older. I think that is Jay. So I'm gonna mark that Jay's been established. That's Jay. That's Nikki. I think that one, he was pretty easy for me in the early stages. I think I knew who Nikki looked like before getting into this, so I think that helped. Oh my goodness. Okay, so that's Jay, Nikki. I think that's Jake. Jake from State Farm. Boom. Okay, next, I'm going to look for a Sonu. He looks like a Sonu. I think he's Sonu. Sonu. Jungwon. Sunghoon. Now this is the tricky part. Who is Sunghoon and who is Heesung? I'm going to say he's Sunghoon and he's Heesung. I'm going to lock that in. I'm not even going to try to change it. That's what we're going to do. Okay, let me know if I'm right. If I'm right, huzzah. But we still, we got to double check my work in future ones because the fact that I had to look up to make sure I got all the names, that's still not perfect credit. Don't give me perfect credit yet. We'll get there. Okay, we're going to go from the top of this and talk about the dance. We've already touched on everything else that we could discuss regarding this particular track. So we're going to talk about what makes the dance work with the song outside of the things that we've discussed. Okay, so we start in this really interesting pyramid, but instead of it being on a normal plane that you normally see a pyramid in depth, in a formation you see it built up in level. I think that's cool. So you have the ladies surrounding, and then we have the meltdown, a lot of traces, and then we're all establishing the neck as our playing field of imagery and use your imagination. And they say, we are vampire through and through, and we bite me. You get to be a vampire too. It's, would this be great for Twilight? Sure, right? So we end up taking it. I like the brush of the arms there. The ladies move to the outside. They say, come on, kiss me and bite me. So that's, I said that was Heesung. I believe he's the oldest, right? So I like the tension, the reverb into the speed change, which I really, really liked there. So we come back up, we hold it in, good body roll out of that, we twinkle it in, sending it out, more levels here, and now we're having more of a extension versus we're not connected or touching and all over each other, but we are hovering with a similar level structure that we saw in the beginning, but it's just a little bit more condensed. And then we fold it out, ladies are surrounding. It does have a sense of submission, but also a degree of they're giving permission for them to control them, right? Which is why having the ladies look in, the dancers are acting as that we are controlling you, and they're like, we're here for it, right? And then they go bad, 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 so they do the head nods down. I like the travel down on that, good accent for that. On the tone, we send it through, I like the chest on it. Great execution with our ladies there. We toss it away. Then all the guys are in the back, and they have it as a nice stack. This reminds me of Amazon Amazon, the dance group that we saw Harimu in, and a couple other people. We've seen stacks like this before, right? Yeah, so they have a twist with the head look is nice, the arms go out, we trace it. So we're already introducing traces with this type of choice here, and then we end up sending it through, we press it. I like the hinge around, that's really tricky to get clean, that looks pretty good. We open it up, and then we go to the chorus, we clap it. So I think the first half is just more of a, projection, more conversational. They're like, come here. And of course, in America or in a lot of other spaces, this means come here. But I know in Korea, this is come here, because that's more of what you do to humans, what you do to animals. So I do know that difference. So seeing that here, it's cool. So we have the head. We bring it, they cross it, they tap it, and then we tap the neck 4 times. Once again, incentivizing, this is what we're talking about. Wordplay galore, right? So we trace it with another trace down, all surrounding the neck. And then we're like, come here, different type of gesture point. Then you have the bite me here. A little bit more of a casual approach. Then we end up taking the trace up. Different ways of showcasing. We're talking about the neck. Bite me here. Here, right? And they said, come on, some. They're not saying, bite me on my wrist. Yeah, they pull it with a knock. So all of this is interesting because you get to see the solo equivalents of what you're about to see in the partnering, right? So we have the trace on it, another trace there, the ladies walk, come over and bite me. The dancers are moving, they are coming over. They're not biting them, but they are, about to do the partnering here. So now it's like a serenading moment. The pull-in is cool. I like the accent with the pull of the sternum on that. That was really fun. And you got to see that. And then the ladies drop down. They come right back up. That was pretty suggestive out of everything. Pretty suggestive. Here, we're pretty conservative in our positioning the guys and how they're holding them. Totally get that. And then we end up doing a trace. Now, granted, depending on a fan cam, depending on the type of promotions, depending on the chemistry between the dancer and the member, if that exists. I mean, you're going to have natural chemistry of like getting along with each other. I'm not talking about like a romantic situation, but that kind of stuff happens too. But my point is, depending on a fan cam or depending on other factors, they could have their position a little bit different, a mistake, or because we're feeling really good about it this go around, and so we're really going for it. We don't know, or you guys would know, I don't. But in this dance practice, it looked pretty, pretty, we're doing a job, like we are dancing. We're just doing a dance, right? But we're committing to it, but we don't have the type of emotional baggage involved in it the way that it sounds, right? Like whenever you're dancing with this type of density, 9 times out of 10, and if you're a dancer, please chime in on this, because I know I feel this way. When you're doing a dance really, really densely, you're not thinking about how my words or like what the words are talking about, how that's coming across, right? I'm going off of I need to do the dance, especially if it's dependent on somebody else and it's for a job, right? Now, if it's a project that I'm doing because it's for me, a little different, but we know that they didn't come up really with this concept and they're being told what to do in concept. So I think that's another thing to think about. And there's a dancer who's on GRV. She had a interview where she talked about that because she did Jungkook's 3D and she was one of the dancers who ended up pushing on his chest to move to another position. And some people are like, oh my God, did you feel incredible? She was like, no, I was just trying to do the dance. And then after the fact, I thought about it, if that makes sense. So all that to say, I don't think there's really anything romantic going on here. They're doing their job. So I like the interlocking on that. It was really nice. I like the trio happening and then the two diagonal moments here. Oh, what was it, 113? It froze. Let me try this again. La la la, 113 would be right here. See, look, lots of people watch this part, which I get. It's very interesting partnering. So we have tension on it, and then we pull through. The accent point's nice, so they grab onto the neck. I know some people were not happy about seeing that, but I consider that good job. We committed, and you hit the nail on the head. You got a good angle, and it reads well, right? So they come up. Some of them are probably not even touching, which I find to be really funny. So they pull. Then the girls have stayed, the guys move away. They pull through. And then I really like having this moment here with the dangle of the wrist where this is lifeless and this is still in controls. You see that often in, puppeting? So that was cool. I like the tension sweep around. That's really nice. We pull it up. I called this person Sunghoon. So hopefully I'm right. No? Did I call that Nikki? Maybe I did. See? That's what's his face? Sunghoon there. That's Nikki? Yeah, sure. We have the bass and we pull it. And then we have it where it looks at the ladies are crouching. They have their moment there. They reach it back with a pullback. Great arch for my dancer there. That was really nice. They pull it. Good lower body on that. So we're pulling it up through there. I think that's my He Sung of the day. Is the whole group going to be a Where's Waldo? Possibly. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, sometimes when I marathon groups, I encounter a member where I struggle to find them. I struggle to know where they are in a dance practice. And my very first Where's Waldo was Mingyu of 17. Didn't even realize he was a member of the group till I had completed their marathon. That is how terrible I was. Then Chongmin of Stray Kids was one of those, and also Q from The Boys. So I've had quite a few Where's Waldos in my life. So maybe the entire group of ENHYPEN will be given that title. We will see. But I am trying. We're going to have some fun. Oh, Yoonho. We got to say Yoonho from ATEEZ also. He was my second Where's Waldo. Moving on. But we had a little Trace moment. That was pretty full of commitment on that. I like the two columns and they separate. Members come back on. So I like the projection forward. The dancers come in with them there. And then you have the oh my God. You have quantity, so it helps build more than the first time we saw it. And they're not on the floor. They're all projecting forward. Travel forward is nice. We trace it. They go up. The head ISO is nice. And then we have the crazy. And then we hinge it around. This part, they couldn't really go for it as effectively as the first time because you have to be very clear with your transition here, much more so than the first time. Why? Because you have way more dancers involved. The dancers aren't really moving, but the members are to go off of what's going on in the words. So the claps. Okay, so I said that was Heesung, but no, Heesung whenever I had initially talked about the phrasing. I said that is Sunghoon. I have no idea how old Sunghoon is. I don't know how old any of them are. I do know Nikki is like 15 or 16, possibly. I think that's the only thing based on previous conversations. But I have no idea how old any of them are. Knock. They hit it through, and they have the tap, 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 so the 4 over. And then they trace it again. And then they said, come over. I will not be doing what they suggest, but whatever. Okay, so we double it. There, we pull it through. I think I have enough, confidence to lock in J. I really do think this is J. And I think this is Sonu. Yeah. And Jake. And Nikki. So I have those 4. Oh, man. I don't know if I have the other 3. So maybe I failed. I did say 5 was my goal. Yes, I think I got them all technically right. Maybe I flip-flopped 1 or 2 people, but I'm going to say for my clarity, if I just saw them on the street, I think I'd only be able to recognize 4 of them right now. So sorry. Anyway, so we crawl it up. We'll pull, trace down. Wait, what did I do? Is that Sonu? No, that's Jungwon. Jungwon? Is the other... Oh my gosh, yes. Ugh. Guys, I'm working on it. Don't doubt yourself. Just... Anyway, so we have create more tension, the pull through, same choreo as before. I like the fact that it's the same choreo, smarter, not harder. You just have different people in different places. So that's fine. They crawl up, and then they do a little drop around. And then we have a pulse with the heel, and then we trace it. This is interesting, because if you don't really have a good shoulder flexibility, then that's going to be a bit of a struggle for you. They grab, they bring it back to the front. You have the kiss me, and they do it instead of the boy. So I thought that was interesting. It was using your partner to get it apart. The entanglement was interesting, and then we use that as a form of holding on to the dancer. It's little things like that. It's so interesting how we got from the entanglement to that position. I thought that was really cool. An expansion of a complex position. It was really fun. Complex in the visual. So they drop it down, we come up, then we knock. Look, he's not even looking at her, right? It's not even, I bet probably on a music show, they're like, eye contact for lore, but whatever, right? I don't look at this and go, ooh, we're starting relationships. But also, this is work to me. And I know a lot of people aren't like that. So I get that. I understand people's, what's the word? Oh my God. Why do we have the female dancers? I personally would be on that side of, I don't think we need them for this type of idea, but they were utilized successfully, I think, in the structure of the dance. If we're talking about it in that sense, I don't think they were wasted. I think we absolutely took advantage of having them. It was fine. And it does look like, based on the structure of this choreography too, sometimes you can tell if the dancers work with the members while the dance is being made, or normally are they placed in after. And I do think they probably maybe had 2 rehearsals possibly with the dancers before the shows. The dancers learned this separately. I'm gonna put like $1 on that. I don't think they learned their dance with the boys. I think it was they both learned it separately and then they came together for a rehearsal because they are parentheses or they're surrounding a lot, which is what makes me have that hypothesis. So I don't think they were living in rehearsals the way SB19 lives with W3 in their rehearsals. So that's I'm going to say that there's a sense of reassurance if somebody was curious. That's what my gut's telling me here. But okay, so talking about this, so we walk across. I love the speed change from our dancers on that. They look, and then you have, I think that's my He Sung today, and that's Nikki. And then having the dancers join in on their third one, loved that. So cool. It provided a lot of intensity. We do a roll up out of it. Move it to a new spot. They drop and drop and drop. I like the straight line there, and then all the dancers are grabbing behind them. So everybody's grabbing. Everyone's been bitten. Ow. Like, does that not hurt? And then they pull it through, and then they accent with the elbow, and then we stagger back, and we walk away. The dancers and the members all look, and then we're walking to our last spot, and then we go to have a finish, and we're here. And we do a lay down. Right, so we do a little touch, a lay, things along those lines. Boom. So that can be pretty fatiguing, but not as fatiguing of a dance as some of their other works. I think Pass the Mic's more fatiguing than this one. But, okay, those are my overall thoughts. Thank you, Hannah, for this request. Thank you for warning me about this so I could kind of pregame my thought process and how to look at this. Because is it on the boys as to why the dancers are there? No. Do I think it's still a very successful track? I would say yes. There's certain components of it that wishful preference-wise, I wish were different. And there was a way to make them different, to make it a little bit more appropriate for the circumstance of age and the suggestiveness that gets associated. And I do stand on this hill. Just because members say it doesn't automatically mean okay, now it's a problem. And I said that about the last one, where if we're doing something suggestive and the members are saying it, let's say years later, and then you go back and you look and you're like, you know what, they're right. It shouldn't have to take the members saying this was too mature for us not to make it as a topic of discussion, right? I do know whenever things get talked about in the moment, while it's happening, like if I was saying any of this in the moment, I know it would be way more sensitive, and I respect that. And I think my verbiage would also be a little bit different too, because there is emotional sensitivity that I want to respect the space that I'm entering in. Do you know what I mean? But because there's been a few years post this, I feel a little bit more comfortable being more frank, but also I'm still very open to hearing other perspectives of what was going down at the time or what's been said, in hopes to help me grow in understanding where they were in context, to hopefully grow myself to appreciate them and their growth in their discography and their movement portfolio. But in the isolation of looking at the dance practice and seeing our dancers and seeing the choreography, I thought the dancers were well used for them being in the dance and the partner work. Do I think they were needed for the success of the track? I mean, if you took them out and there's no partner work, if they changed the choreo, I'm sure it would have looked fine. I don't think they needed dancers in order to get the concept across, but I do think the dancers enhanced it. So those are my final kind of ending points. But yes, you guys know me. I know you. I'm Jess. I'm having a blast on this ENHYPEN marathon alongside you guys. And Hannah is our low-key sponsor in making that happen. And now we'll catch you on the flip side. Bye.